There is potentially $400,000 up for grabs in the upcoming Illuvium Beyond season for Wave 3 that is releasing on November 21, 2024. I'm going to break down all of the different revenue metrics, how you can earn, how you can maximize your advantage, and just really what sort of gains you can actually make. I'm going to explain that if you spend $1,000, you could earn, let's say it's a lot more than $1,000. But you're going to have to wait till the end of the video to get to know that. So for anyone who has been sleeping under a rock, a proposal passed recently from, I believe Roger wrote this one, and it was a really great proposal that went over really key aspects of Illuvium Beyond. I'm going to really quickly explain this, then we're going to get to the numbers. First up, there's going to be missed rewards for the set 1 leaderboard, which is 9 weeks worth. So for those on top of the leaderboard, a crap ton of money based on the previous leaderboard reward. So if you're just new to Illuvium Beyond right now, this doesn't really apply to you. If you were off the leaderboard in the previous season, again, this doesn't really apply to you. It's unfortunate, but it is what it is. And that's just kind of how it is. It's for those players who played before. The set 1 leaderboard will continue. Basically, for every Illuvatar will count. And the higher you're on this leaderboard based on your power rating and everything like that, then the better your score will get and the more rewards you'll get every single week. The big difference here is that it's actually been expanded to, I believe, 200 participants for the new set 1 leaderboard rewards, which is a big change that we had from before, where it was only 100 participants. Myself, I was sitting around the 120 mark, I think, for the most part. So I'm really glad with this change, I'll be included, and it will get way more people into Illuvium Beyond. The other thing is the Wave 3 leaderboard, which is brand new. It is a reward percentage up to 250 people can participate, and only Wave 3 Illuvatars will count for this leaderboard. Now, what's interesting is depending on how many people purchase Illuvium Beyond discs, the prize pool for this leaderboard will increase. Now, it says here, it has the example here for 5,000 ILV, but it actually starts at the 2,000 ILV mark. And I personally believe it will actually go higher than 5,000 ILV, and I'll explain that in just a minute. But the other way you can actually earn rewards that's not explained here is through the Lizard Labs systems. You can open discs on their website, you can play their games, and you can do Battle in the Beyond to get on their leaderboard as well. Just at the same time, you don't really have to do anything extra, and you can earn rewards that way as well. And here you can learn a little bit more about Lizard Labs. Anyone who knows me knows that I love the ETH Lizards and Lizard Labs, but what you might not know is they have evolved far beyond just an NFT project. They are now a gaming DAO that is building infrastructure, handing out alpha, and my personal favorite, allowing any individual to invest into new gaming projects on the ground floor. Jump into their Discord today to learn about the future of crypto gaming, as their token launch is right around the corner. And thanks again to Lizard Labs for sponsoring this video. Okay, so what do these revenue numbers look like for Illuvium? Let's jump into that right now. So for the sake of this video, I've set some random variables for the ILV token price and the Ethereum price, just so that I can use those numbers to figure out all the USD values and things like that. So obviously this is subject to change, wildly subject to change. For all I know, when this video comes out, ILV could be higher or lower than it is right now, and Ethereum could be 6 grand. I don't know. So you're just going to have to bear with me for this one. But basically, I've set my ILV price to $40. I've set my Ethereum price to $3,200. So historically, a lot of discs have been sold. Now, I'm estimating the SRV2 numbers here because they're really hard to get off the chain. But I think they're relatively they're pretty solid. They're pretty solid. The amount of SRV2 has decreased over time, but basically the price of the Alpha, Standard, and Mega of Wave 1 was really, really high, about 6 times what they are today. For the Standard and Mega disc, they were about $8.50 and $42 for Wave 1, and $6 and $35 for Wave 2. And the Alpha discs, same as with this wave here, are actually going to be twice that price. So this pricing is all pretty consistent with what Wave 3 is going to be. Basically, the Alpha Standard disc is going to be about $10. I'm hoping they decrease it because ETH has increased in value, so it might actually be a bit less than this. But Alpha Standard should be about $20, Alpha Mega about $115, Standard about $10, and Mega about $60. The Alpha discs will not last long. There is actually a maximum amount of them, 2,500 standards and 1,000 megas, which based on Wave 2, which did not really have that much hype for the alphas in general, they should sell out like that really, really fast. If you want to get 1 or 2 alpha discs, I highly recommend it. Might be worth your time. Make sure you get in right at the launch time and snag 1 or 2 because I expect them to go quite quickly on this one. So basically, the alpha standard is 2,500 and alpha mega 1,000. Now, the disc sales, okay? So historically, the standard discs for Wave 1 sold 100,000 of them, and the mega discs was 45,000 of them. But for Wave 2, we actually had more standard discs sell, 115,000. Obviously, stretch goals probably helped with that a little bit. And 23,000 megas, about half the amount of megas. But they were both quite popular. Not only that, because of the less amount of SRV2 probably spent, the Wave 2 actually generated almost as much revenue as Wave 1, probably more than Wave 1 if you exclude the alpha sale, generally speaking. But yes, it generated so much revenue. So Wave 2 generated about $1 million worth of revenue and Wave 1 generated about $2 million of revenue. But because there's so much less SRV2 in the system, based on the quantities I expect to sell for standard and mega discs, I'm actually expecting about $2.1 million in sales for Illuvium Beyond Wave 3 because I expect about 100,000 standard discs, although there will probably be a more sold if you ask me, especially with the promos and things like that, and 32,000 mega discs. Now, if you haven't yet, please use my referral code on the Illuvidex, Scoriox, SCORIOX, Scoriox. I really appreciate it, especially if you're buying discs. Please check, it might have expired. I'm going to remind you at the end as well. Anyways, so the miss rewards is just snapshot and all that sort of stuff. Set 1 leaderboard will actually be a total of 120,000 USD overall for the wave, whereas weekly rewards will be about 10,000 USD split amongst 200 competitors. And here is what it looks like here, is we've got the top player earning 30 ILV USD per week is $1,200 across the entire wave. If you are the number 1 spot for the set 1 leaderboard, you would earn 14 grand, which is a lot. Like if you're dropping 10 grand on a Louvetage, you probably have pretty much every Louvetage and most of the expressions for everything except the big tier 5s. And so it might actually be worth your time to really get up top of the leaderboard, but obviously it's not that easy. Whereas some of the easier ranges to hit are something like 66 to 100. The bottom 40 player or 35 players or so are getting $24 per player, or 800. Sorry, I've messed up those wave rewards because they're based on the entire cohort. But for the wave, 12 times $24 would be about $240 across the wave for being in that last bracket. A little bit hard with the set 1 rewards unless you're already really heavily competing in set 1, but that is not the thing we're going to focus on today. Although that's going to get you a whole lot of extra discs, which is absolutely fantastic. But what we're going to focus on is this Wave 3 leaderboard. So at 2,000 ILV for the starting amount, it's going to be $80,000 in total for everyone participating in the wave. But if we hit that $2 million threshold in Ethereum that I'm expecting, it's actually closer to $350,000 that is going to be distributed across the wave for people who are just buying Wave 3 discs. And like the higher people get on this leaderboard and 250 players, they're going to keep buying. And this number is going to keep going up and everyone's going to get even more rewards. And it's going to get absolutely crazy. At least that's what I'm hoping will happen. But here it is, it's really interesting. So for those in like the 90 to 100 range, which I think is quite easy, the overall reward you could get is about $80. Total player, 10 players are going to get $80. What I think is even more achievable is even this 51 to 60 bracket. I don't know how many people are going to go hard on Wave 3, but if there aren't too many, you could really easily get that $400 per player as well, quite achievably. But what we're going to look at is what happens when there's been $2 million in wave rewards, okay? Because that is 8,600 ILV to be distributed. I'm hoping I mathed that right. I'm pretty confident I mathed that right, but it's 8,000 ILV. And what happens at 3 million in revenue is the prize pool goes 2 million in revenue, sorry, to $300,000 across it. So per player, the number 1 rank, right, they would be earning $34,000 for the wave. Now, I think you can spend easily 20 grand on wave 3 to probably get everything, okay? Get everything quite confidently, maybe more than that, especially with the bonding accessories and everything. And you would actually come out with a profit if you're fighting for that number 1 spot. But for everyone else, that's not too crazy. In the 21 to 30 spot, you'd be getting $4,000, 31 to $43,000. And these numbers are going to keep going up if people are fighting really hard for these leaderboard rewards. It's a flywheel that works really, really well. And I'm going to tell you how much I think you need to spend to get to these positions. But basically, if you came in 71 to 80 here, you'd be getting something like $700. All absolutely fantastic rewards. $700 is going to get you 100 standard discs. You can keep buying, keep playing. Unfortunately, with this leaderboard, you're actually going to get distributed once at the end of the wave. So make sure you're going hard right up until the very last moment. It makes it a really fun, competitive game, and it doesn't exclude anyone who hasn't been in Illuvium Beyond before as well. So it's really, really exciting. And maybe you could actually go and buy some cheap accessories now while you have the chance, because they're probably going to be incorporated in some way as well, since you'll need to bond a lot of your Illuvitar. So this might be your chance to go and do that. But basically, it is so, so insane. Someone making $3,000 a week, like, even this third place here is making $1,400 a week. 4th and 5th are making about $1,000 a week. That's like a livable wage in so many countries, which is really, really cool. And what I wanted to mention here at the end is everything except for tier 5, you can probably get from 200 standard discs. Based on the numbers I've run and the odds I've looked at, from 200 standard discs, which is about $1,000, or I'm hoping it's going to be about $1,000 if they adjust some of the ETH and stuff. It'll be about $1,000 if you use SRV2. You can get everything except all of the tier 5s with accessory collections and all the rest of it. You should be able to use that to get on the top 100 at least. Okay, in the top 100 at least. Really, I know you're going to be wanting to go for that top 70, which is where you're getting $1,000 at the 2 million in generated revenue. I think that's highly achievable. With $1,000 spend, I think you can get that break even and go really hard for those top rewards. Again, please don't forget to use my creator code in the Illuvidex, especially if you're buying discs with Ethereum. I really appreciate it. SCORIOX. That is the code right there. Please, I hope you learned something, and don't forget to check out this video to learn more about Illuvium Beyond and exactly what your odds are of finding different Illuvials.